In this video, I will make a tutorial, which is how we use Multitester Digital. Well, this is devoted to beginners. For those who already temperature, please skip this video. Okay, we start in the tutorial. The guys. There are two props, which is black and red. For the black, we plug it in. There is a COM writing. Well, we plug in the COM part for black prop, and for the red one, we plug in the right. Well, this is for red plugs. To start, use it. We have to know the function of the selector, direction of this selector. The part on the left, yes, this is for DC volt gauge. Well, with a V sign. Then there are lines and dotted lines, direct selector or customized. With DC volts that we want to measure, we start by measuring pole DC battery, like this, to know how much pole for this capacity we see here. Inisato como la pole. Well, so to measure this, we have to change from the selector, which is in the amperage, to measure DC 1 volts. 5, we simply direct for selector, 2 volt. So above 1, 5, we could have used 20 or 200 vol, but that for the comma behind it is not accurate. So we just use the 2 vol one. We point or turn the selector towards 2 volts. On this battery, there are negative and positive poles. Point the black prop to the negative pole and a red prop to the positive pole. Then we see for value, which is featured in multitester. It shows 1.4 volts. We try using batteries. How many volts is the other one? That reads, inisa 0.5 volt. Means that these batteries are still good. If less than that, means the battery is soaked. We can also, to use this is to measure the battery from kind of calculator battery like this. Okay, well here we can see there is a view. There are 3 volts. It says 3 volts, and this is the positive pole. Behind it, this is the negative pole. Because here, 3 volts of value. We have to change from selector, aiming it at 20 volts. So above 3 volts. We aim at 20 volts. Okay, we measure, put it on the negative and put it on the positive for his probe. Well, that reads 3.2 volts. Signify for this battery is still good. Above 3 volts, okay? We can also to measure the voltage of the battery. Kind of 12 volts like this. Well, this can be for measuring motorcycle batteries or car battery. Aim for this selector. 20 volts or, because what we're going to measure is 12 volts. We stick it, black prop to negative pole and red prop to positive pole. Then we'll see. Of display. Multitester showing 12.4 volts. Means that these batteries still good because it's still above 12.4 volts. Okay, it's use for DC current. Now we're using DC current to measure from power supply or adapter. We can also use this, it says 12 volts. Try to measure for the results whether the output is 12 volts. Plug for his negative prop outside. And plug for black prop on the inside. Well, that shows 12,5 volt. Does that mean this adapter is still function well? Next, we're going to use to measure from AC volts, that is alternating current or PLN current in our home. So we point, for this selector, it's to that AC volt, which is this side. We point to 600 volts because the house electricity we know around the volt, it's 220 or 230 volts, guys. Okay, we aim for the selector to 600 volt AC. Next, we plug it in for the red prop and black prop in the plug's hole. Electricity back and forth. No problem. It will show the value of It was berapa AC current in your home. It shows 220 volts. Next, we're gonna be using this multitester to measure prisoners, or resistor, with the emblem ohm. This is a resistor with a value of 1000 ohm, with 5% tolerance. So we aim for that selector. Because this is 1000 ohm, so we point the selector at 2K, which means above 1000. If we point to 2K, meaning 2000 ohm, if the resistor is below 20,000 K, or above 2K, then direct it to 20K ohm. This is for the selector. Now we measure for the resistor, with value 1K this or 1000 ohm. Okay, for black VROP, put it up next to it, and for the red VROP, installed next to it. We see for the value. For this resistor has a tolerance of 5%. Means that it's worth about 950. Up to 150? If it's still inside that range, means that the resistor is normal. For selectors, if directed to this section. This is for measuring diodes. Or also test the cable. Break up or still connect. Well, test cable break with bus sound. This means that the cable is still good. If there is a sound... Okay, let's check this cable. Whether this cable is still connected or functioning properly. We point the selector here. Next to prop, black connect to the cable at the end. And the red one connect to the cable. The other one. Then this should emit a sound. Well, it means this ushers an electric current. Not disconnected yet. Means it's still good for the wiring. Next, we will check with the diode symbol. So we can check for diodes. It's still good or it's broken. Well, for the way, point for the selector in the same direction, which is towards diode symbol. Next, we're going to test from the diode. Still good or it's broken. Black part. The plain this anode part. The one with the ring on the right, yeah. If the one on the left is anode, on the right is the cathode. We check for prop. For black color prop, we point it to anode, then to VROP red toward cathode. We see there that it has to show not moving. Right, OL? Well, or the value. If in this multitester is 1, then we move it for the probe. We turn the red one to the anode. And black color to cathode. It should show value there. It shows that for this diode still works well. Next, we're gonna be using this multitester to measure amperes. This multitester can only measure amperes. DC current only. To measure the DC current flowing, point the selector to 10 amperes. Here, okay, for the red color prop, we move it to 10. DC amperes don't tip over. Okay, if you have, we measure how it's used. The guys, we use lights. So we'll find out. How many amperes, currents that flow past this light fixture? Well, for the foot of the lamp. We try first for the light. These lights are on, yeah? This is a DC light. 12 volts well to measure the amps. The currents that flow, we plug for feet. One can be next to the other. Reverse is okay. The one put in the negative DC current. Okay, we put it together first. In the negative direction. Next. For this other leg, we test it first lit, yeah. For this one leg, we put on a black prop. Here, yeah. The next one we attach to the positive battery. Then the lights turn on. And in screen, multitester shows how many amperes of current are flowing. Let's see. We try again. Well, there shows about 1.2 amperes. Well, that's how we check amperage or current flowing in this lamp. Okay, guys. Possible for this video to get here. I hope this information is useful for friends who want to use Multitester Digital. Don't forget to support. Click like, subscribe, and light her bells to get other helpful videos from me, okay? So thank you.